I just have to hit record. Okay, it's recording, so you're ready.
Okay. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the meeting for Clarksley and Plainview Water and Sanitary Improvements Project. As many of you know, this project's been in the works for a while, and this is just kind of a status update for all of you. I'm Dol Grubenik, city engineer for Manitou Springs, and I've been helping kind of lead this effort along with our consultant engineer, Glenn Ellis from JR Engineering. Tonight, we're really just wanting to focus on giving everyone realistic expectations for what to expect with this project, when the project will start, and the duration of the project, and then really most importantly, the level of impact that the local residents will see and feel during the construction. When we were designing this project with Glenn and his team at JR, we really took into consideration the complexity of the narrow roads in some of the areas and the fact that those are homes and that access to homes and the residences need to be maintained at all times. So as you'll see here in a few minutes, we really tried to keep the construction length at a minimum. We broke the project up into frequent phases so that although when they're in front of your house, it's going to be an inconvenience, but we're not going to allow the contractor to open up the whole project and just have a major mess everywhere. It's also important to note that we will be maintaining services, of course, during the whole time. It's in the plans and the contract that the contractor will maintain services, whether they have to do some pumping or whatever the case may be. So we know this project has been a big need for the community for a long time, so we're happy to be at this point. With all of that said, Glenn has prepared a brief agenda with a couple of examples, and I'll let Glenn share his part of the presentation.
Thank you, Dole. My name is Glenn Ellis. I work for JR Engineering. I'm the project manager, been overseeing the project up to this point. Because this project is funded with state funding, there's certain items that we've got to touch on for the agenda. I do have an agenda I'd like to share. I don't know how this works. If I share my screen, I'll see what I can do. Let's see. So I'm sharing. Okay. So can you see the agenda, Dole? Okay. Nancy?
Yes, sure can.
Okay. So we got to talk about the project scope, give some alternatives, some things that we looked at as alternatives in our design. We've got to touch on how the residents will be impacted. We need to talk about financing for the project and the scheduling. So I'll go through those. We'll see how brief I can be, but I've itemized and I've listed them here. So fast readers will be able to get through it quicker than I can talk, I believe. I do also have some maps to kind of illustrate as we go along. So the scope of the project is to replace the water main and the sanitary sewer mains on Clarksley Road, north of Mountain View Road. Or let me just pull up the water map really quick. So this is the water main replacement limits on Clarksley Road. We're starting up at the dead end on the north, going down to Mountain View Road, and then following the existing mains, branching to the west to Sutherland, and down Mountain View Road to the south to Sutherland as well. The existing mains are 2-inch and 4-inch, and we will be replacing with 8-inch water mains. We will be replacing the existing fire hydrants and adding 2 fire hydrants. One here at the intersection of Mountain View and Clarksley, and then one down here at Mountain View and Sutherland. The sanitary sewer component of the project will be within the same limits, although it'll be more localized. Start of construction for sanitary sewer will begin at about 139 Clarksley, which is Andy Wells' home. And we will be replacing into the intersection of Danita, reconfiguring that connection at Danita. Then continuing the sanitary replacement to Mountain View, following Mountain View all the way to about 20 Mountain View Road. At that location, the existing sanitary heads to the west and starts and is behind the homes of the residents south to Sutherland. So we're going to stop at that location, stub it or connect to the existing sanitary behind the paving and allow that to be a future project for the city. So with that, that's a quick overview of the scope of the project. Again, in compliance with the requirements for the funding, we looked at a couple alternatives. Really, more or less conceptually, we didn't go into any full depth analysis, but clearly the first analysis or alternative would be to do nothing. The city would continue to maintain the existing system that's there, address maintenance and repair concerns that have come up, with the potential that continued backups would be in the future as well. Clearly not in line with the city's desire to make improvements in that area, but an alternative nonetheless. The other alternative that we quickly looked at was to replace the system in kind, meaning that the existing sizing of the system would be replaced with new sizing. So there's a 4-inch water main we would replace with the 4-inch water main. Fire hydrants would be replaced at the same locations. No new fire hydrants would be installed. Manholes would be, and sanitary sewer would be replaced in kind. So system improvements in the sense that the city would be receiving new infrastructure. Those would have improved maintenance components to them because they're new, but it doesn't address any capacity issues and potential for backup. So those would still continue. The cost for that, we estimated just under $900,000. So pretty expensive for operationally, not a whole lot of bang. And then the preferred alternative, what is being proposed with our design, is just under $1 million. And that is to upgrade the existing system. All of the existing system would be abandoned in place unless it's in conflict with the new, so it would be replaced in those areas, but otherwise it would be abandoned. Larger systems of the sanitary system would be filled in with flow fill, so flowable concrete. Manholes would be removed below grade and then filled in. And the existing water main and sanitary sewer will be replaced within the corridor, but spaced to meet current standards, being 10 feet apart.
Hey, Glenn.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you. Would you just zoom in on that?
Oh, sure. Zoom in on the...
Just to the PDF, zoom in, the plus sign there. The 76.4% or whatever, just zoom in on the PDF so everyone can read the... Yeah, just keep going up. Oh.
Wait, what am I... I'm a little...
Just zoom in on your PDF actual.
Okay, so... this one here, sorry. Yeah.
Yep. There you go. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Now everybody can read it better.
Yeah, no, thank you. I thought you had a side peek at my plans that were on another screen. So I was like, wait a minute. So that gets us through those requirements. We'll talk about the bidding process, but that's the cost estimate. And once we have firm cost, then those will be tied to the project funding moving forward. As Dole had mentioned, there's a number of things that we need to talk about and be cognizant of during construction. First and foremost, I believe, would be coordination with the homeowners and residents that will be impacted. With the narrow roadways, there isn't a lot of area to stage material and get vehicles passing through those areas. So we've come up with a phasing plan, as Dole had indicated. Let me pull that up. And I will, first off, I'll show an overview of it, and then we can zoom as needed. But we've got the project broken into 5 phases. Phase 1 would be from Dunedin up to the north end of Clarksley, build the water and the sanitary sewer, get those systems up and running. Second phase would be from Dunedin into the intersection of Mountain View, close off that intersection, build the infrastructure there. Phase 3 would be Mountain View to the west to Sutherland, and that would just be a water main. So the project should be quicker through that area. Phase 4 will be Mountain View to the east of Clarksley to the 20 Mountain View, which will be the water main and sanitary sewer construction. And then phase 5 will be south of there, and it'll just be water main through there. And we, again, as Dole indicated, we broke this project up to minimize the disruptions long-term, but allow traffic to continue to flow through the project site. The contractor will be required to kind of dial in a little closer in the phasing. I'll zoom in. In this area, for instance, with the project going on, how is this property owner at the far end going to be impacted? And is it necessary for them to be completely disconnected all day, every day during construction with a limited space for parking along the roadway? So we've indicated that the contractor is required to open up the roadways at the end of each day, either by backfilling or plating any trenches that are open. They need to coordinate with homeowners to allow services to continue, such as mail and trash pickup. So they are going to be required to provide us a plan of how they are going to coordinate and make this work. They'll be required to provide a notification, whether that's a flyer or just something they drop in at the front door, of all the property owners impacted along the project. They'll have an initial contact indicating what the project scope is, providing their contact information, kind of what to think about in terms of how construction will impact them. And then as construction progresses, they're required to provide updates to the phases that are upcoming, saying, hey, we're going to be in your phase within the next 2 weeks. Please contact us with any needs that you need us to be aware of. We'd also like the contractor, again, to minimize construction so that when they're working here, is there a way to make the area passable so that the residents don't have to walk from here all the way up, 300 plus feet to their home? Is there a way to make that work? And with the narrow roads, it's going to be very challenging, but we put that onus on the contractor to kind of make this work for the residents.
Yes, and Glenn, I think it's important to point out at this point too that some of this work is going to be happening really deep.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
so, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, for the most part, we're sticking within standard 5 to 8 feet deep with the water and sanitary. But at the intersection here at Dunedin, the existing system is 15, 16 feet deep. So this segment of the project will be very deep. And there's a lot of utilities with water. There's a gas main. So the contractor is going to have some challenges excavating that and making that work. But so yeah, there will be areas that are deep. This area here, because the sanitary sewer bucks grade with the grade of the road going down and the sanitary sewer going up, it's going to be very shallow. So it's only going to be 4 feet deep with the sanitary, but the rest of the water main will be 5 to 6 feet deep. So definitely some impacts that the contractor's going to have to share that information with the residents. Jumping back to the agenda, talked about the narrow roadways. The storage, we're not providing any information to the contractor at this point as to where they're going to stage their materials. It's going to be that they'll need to work that out. They'll have to come up with an area that they want to stage and coordinate that with city, with Dole and myself. There may be areas of open space that are like on Dunedin on the west side, or on the east side of Dunedin at that intersection. I believe there's some vacant right of way that is being utilized by a homeowner. There may be an area there to store, but we'll work through that with the contractor as what they feel is necessary. Bypass pumping of the system, of the sanitary system, is most likely going to be required as they build the new and tie in the services. And we require that the contractor provide a plan so that we review that and approve that before they do any of that work. That's to keep the services flowing, making sure that there's no potential for backups during construction. And then services, all homeowners will receive new water and sanitary sewer services. If it's water, they'll receive new service up to their curb stop, which is going to be close to the back of the curb in most cases. And then sanitary sewer, new service will be provided from the main to the back of the curb or the back of the paving. And the city, the project will install a new clean out to facilitate future cleaning of the system to as maintenance needs occur in the future. That touches on all the construction components. Dole, did I miss out anything that you think I need to touch on or a little more, or does anyone have any questions maybe?
I had a quick question. So will the residents have any responsibilities in terms of hooking up anything or unhooking anything?
No, if they have special needs, they'll need to make that known to the contractor. But for the most part, the contractor, as they are excavating, they will find where the water and sanitary services are located, the existing, and they will make the connections on those. There's at least one property owner that has a force main on their sanitary, and that's this homeowner here, which they have a pump in their basement. And so we will need to coordinate, the contractor will need to coordinate with them so that if there's special needs in terms of, is that pump on a schedule? Is it on a float? We'll want to make sure we have a good handle of that system so that we're not making any disconnections at a crucial time for them. And then our plans indicated that there may be a force main on this home. And so we'll need to follow up with them to confirm that and make sure that that's addressed adequately. In terms of like trash pickup, I've been on projects where the homeowners, they'll just put the trash at the curb and the contractor will pick it up and bring it to a centralized location for the company to pick up. Likewise, if mail delivery is a concern, they put in temporary mail facilities that the post office can just, drop it out there and then the homeowners can walk and pick it up there. So definitely some coordination components that still need to be worked through as the contractor goes through the project. But no, the messages for the residents would be there will be, inconveniences along the way, but
no costs.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no cost that they'll have to contribute. And
Thanks.
as they're impacted, we will work through those with them. Okay. Go back to the agenda. So project financials, again, a requirement that we've got to touch on. So the city is obtaining 2 loans, one to replace the water main, and that's a drinking water revolving fund. And then the second is for the sanitary sewer, it's called the water pollution control revolving fund. Both of these are 20-year loans through the state. They're low interest loans. Currently, our applications, the city's applications, are for just over $500,000 on the water, and that's for construction and design. And you can see the amounts that we had in the application at the time. And then sanitary sewer, it's just under $600,000. And again, the breakdown there. We won't be finalizing the loan before construction starts, so these numbers will be fine-tuned to the actual bid amounts and maybe some contingency for overages or underages along the way. But those are kind of what we've got established for the project. And to make that work, the city back last fall had an ordinance passed to increase the rates throughout the city, not just for this project, but for a number of future water and sanitary sewer projects. And I've listed what those rates are here. I believe a 9% increase had already occurred at the end of 2019. And so those rates are listed. And so these are the current rates. And then in 2021 and 2022, there will be a 9% increase in both of those years of the water and an 8.5% increase on the sanitary sewer. And then in 2023 and 24, there'll be 5% increases at those times. And again, those are based on a rate increase study that looked out 10 years in advance. So depending on how bids go and as the project or the city's needs change, the city may look for additional increases, but these are the ones that have currently been approved. And again, these are increases that need to be shared with the residents to know how the project is being funded in part. And then lastly, construction schedule. The contract is currently, or the project's currently out to bid. August 7th is when we advertised. As Dole had indicated, we've got 57 plan holders currently. What I don't have listed here is we have a pre-bid meeting. It's a non-mandatory, so it's open to any of the contractors, and there's no fault if they don't attend. But it's this Wednesday, August 26th, and then bids are going to be due at the end of the day on Friday, September 4th. And we do have a fairly aggressive schedule outlined, at least for ourselves. And I know Dole's got to do some things on his end to get it on the council agenda, but we're looking to have the project awarded September 9th, have it on the agenda for the 15th to award the project, and then start construction at the end of the month of September. And the contract currently has a working day schedule of 65 working days. So that's about 13 weeks. If there's weather impacts where the contractor is not able to work, that won't be held against them. So this will push construction up towards the end of the year. And with that, I'll open up to questions and we'll turn it back over to Dole if there are none. Go ahead. Looks like Tom has a question. I don't know who's got.
Yeah, I don't know. Is my mic on?
I can barely hear you.
Okay. I'm the owner of the property at 140, so right across from Andy and right next door to Randy.
Okay, let me pull up the phasing map really quick. So Andy's here.
Yeah, I'm right across that way.
So you're this one?
No, across the street from Andy.
Oh, right there.
Right there. Yep, you got it. So I own that one. It's rented out. And is it possible that I can get copies of whatever notices are being put on there? That just so I have it in case the tenants call.
Yeah, if you can provide us with your email address,
Sure.
we can email that to you.
Yeah, and I'm one of those that downloaded the whole packet. So
Oh.
I went section by section. The curse is I'm an architect. So
Gotcha,
I
okay.
knew what I
Yeah.
was reading and trying to clue Andy in as to what's happening out in front and finally gave up. Yeah, so that was probably the biggest thing, so I can let them know. And I'll let the property manager know as well. So
Okay.
take notes while you were doing your presentation. But that was it. I know Shirley next to me, just to the north, that she does have a sewage ejection pit going from her house out to wherever it makes the connection. I have one, but it only goes up one level and then it takes gravity going out.
Okay.
So it's not a direct connection from there, but it goes up 8 feet and then the gravity takes over there.
Okay.
And I don't have the problems of Andy because he's coming out of his lower level. I'm coming out. I got a bit more slope than he does. So,
Yeah. Okay. Do you have Dole's email address to email to, or do you have a way to send us your email?
I'll make it work from my end. So if I'm sending it to Dole, I will get it done. How's that?
Okay. Thank you, Tom.
You know, Glenn, the one thing too I would point out is that we intend to have one point of contact that the residents will have access to, where they can call one number and talk to one person to kind of help if they have any issues. They won't have to talk to one of the guys in the field. So we are trying to make sure that we have a good representative out there. Everyone knows the phone number. So if there's any issues or challenges, they're all calling the right person.
Right. Yeah, we'll be able to review that notification that the contractor shares, so it has the message that we want to share and has that information on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well, it was a good idea to record this. We can share it, and then maybe some other questions can roll in after they watch the video.
Now let me unshare my screen here. Okay.
Anything else anyone wants to offer? Denise, if you want to stop the recording, if you're still there, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll stop it.